Welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. This is Jose, and with me as usual, Andrew. Damn it, Andrew.
You never tell me when I should say my name. There are episodes where you say my name. There are episodes where I say my name. You never.
If I pause,
We
you say your
spent
name.
the first fucking hour of this discussing Ghost of Tsushima, but never. Oh, how are we going to start the podcast?
Fuck, fine. With me, Andrew.
Hi.
And today we're talking about metagaming. Woo!
Should you do it? No. All right.
Andrew.
Jose.
Metagaming. Yes. Oh, wait. Before we do, why do I always forget? Before we do that, what are you meta drinking today?
Everything is beta with meta. I'm actually I'm trying something out, something new. This is called The Last Days of Summer by the Tampa Bay Brewing Company.
Wait, somebody recommended that to me.
It is. Well, I think what reminded me of it was that you said you want to try sours, and this is a sour ale with mango and peach. So
nice.
Let me go ahead and hold on, get that away from the mic. That way it doesn't mess with the with the levels. Because I'm always like, oh, let me open it right in front of the mic, and then when I try to edit it later, it's like, no.
You're gonna sound like the Splash now.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
But yes.
Oh wow.
I like sours.
I love sour.
I had that one that was like peach, but the one I had like legit had like maybe like 1.5, not even alcohol content. How's this one?
It doesn't even taste like a beer. I mean, in the best way possible.
It tastes like sparkling wine.
Yeah, that's exactly what that you know what that nailed it right on the head. Because I'm like, it tastes like something.
Yeah. I mean, I like it because it's super fruity and like refreshing, but it's not a beer in my opinion. I don't know why they call them.
I mean, it's probably
it's
still technically a beer, because it's
the way it's made.
So, oh wow,
I'm drinking a normal one that we had before in the show, a mango cart, because I didn't go to my liquor store to buy some interesting beers this time around. So I'm just gonna drink a mango.
No, that's fine, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mango carts are.
It's so delicious. It's so
especially this time of year when it's like super hot out.
Yeah, and just make some coconut shrimp with a beer batter used with this. Oh, another level.
No.
Also, so you guys that are listening can hold me accountable for this. I'm gonna start making mead at home.
All right. So do you want me to put a timestamp on when you said that?
Yeah.
All right. So it is July 26th when he said that. All right.
I'm gonna make mead. In 2 months, I'm gonna be able to drink it.
Is that how long it takes to make it?
Well, it takes legit. I think it's like 3 to 4 weeks for it to stop like fermenting and doing its thing, but then for it to stop tasting like ethanol and start tasting like actual like sweet meat that we know, you have to wait. People wait about a month after that, but sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It's depending on how like spicy.
It's like if you. So it's kind of like whiskey in a way, where it turns like it's like aqua vita first, where it's like just pure alcohol, and then it gets
right.
Okay, all right, I got it.
Right, yeah. But dude, I found like kits everywhere for like $50, like everything you need except for the honey. But I have like 20 gallons of honey from the last time I went to South Carolina.
That's good honey too.
So. Yeah. So I'm gonna use like some of the fancy stuff. Anyways, hold me accountable in 2 months? That's 4 episodes. In 4 episodes, I'm going to be drinking my own mead.
And what are you drinking today? I'm drinking my own mead. Let's give it a taste. Oh, God.
What have I done? It's been 2 months.
I don't want to drink this anymore. I wasted 2 months of my life.
You're just like, no, Jose, you gotta drink it.
No, you have a whole office water cooler of mead now. You have to drink. That's a lot of honey. Honey's scarce now.
You killed the bees. Do it for the planet.
Yeah, they sacrificed for your mead.
Oh man!
But
right.
honestly,
So,
I heard mead's like super easy to make. Like you can make it
It
like
is.
in a jug in a closet somewhere.
yeah, legit. Like that's why I want to make it because it's so easy. And to make it professional, quote unquote, it's just like 2 extra ingredients at a different in 1 step extra.
No.
Like, that's it. Yeah, it's nothing like beer where it has to be like super precise and everything else. Like this is like not.
I hear
It's like making a toilet wine.
the one thing that really always turns me off on making my own beer is that most beer kits you get one good use out of it.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of the problems with consistent taste in beer is cleanliness. So you
Yes.
have to scrub that thing, and it needs to be as clean as when you got it. If it is not even, if it is even the slightest bit dirty, it's gonna ruin the next batch. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm totally fine just going down to the store, paying a couple bucks, getting some good beer.
that's why I kind of like the mead making because the guy was legit. He was like, yeah, you can just water, honey, yeast. That's it. You're done. You know, like, and he used the big gallons of purified water from the store that was already like clean inside. So all he did was dump some water out, put the honey inside of it, put the yeast, shake it up, and then store it outside.
Don't you have to like skim it every now and then or something? Or it's...
No.
Oh wait,
really.
no. Is it a pressure thing? There's something to it. I know. There's a little something to it. No, really.
At one point of it, you have to transfer.
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, at some point, you have to transfer it from the brewing bucket to like a different one to make it stop.
I might be getting it confused with kombucha because I want to make my own kombucha.
With kombucha, you have to it's like that layer of active biotes. What?
It's like the mother yeast or whatever they call it.
Yeah, and then you just take it out and use it for the next one.
No, what is it called? Anyways, we're not. This is not the kombucha cast. Okay, although it could be.
45 minutes later.
You know, I really like the watermelon one, but I feel like the strawberry one kind of...
Mine's been brewing for the past 3 years. I can't wait to taste it.
It's like solidified. It's like pouring out a can of like cranberry sauce, just like right into the cup.
And today we have Joe, and he drinks straight up vinegar.
Yeah, we're gonna have a slice of his kombucha today. See how it is. Oh.
Anyways, this is a D&D show, and today we're talking about
metagaming. You might not know it, but we actually talk about D&D. We do manage to slide that in between the beer talk. So if you want to skip the beer talk, just turn this off.
Don't even bother. Oh shit. Okay, so Andrew, metagaming. We all do it. We all have been there. We all have seen it. It pisses us off sometimes. Sometimes it's fine. For those of us that don't know what metagaming is, what is metagaming?
All right. So yeah, exactly. Metagaming. I don't want to say it's a necessary evil, but it's extremely hard to avoid. But essentially, what that is you will know something that your character does not, and you are going to try your damnedest to somehow incorporate that into the game, and you can't. And that like little like tug of war in your mind, that's where the metagaming part is. So essentially what metagaming is that you know something your character does not. A classic example of metagaming, excuse me, that's one for the counter. Classic example of metagaming would be you're a bunch of level 1 adventurers and there's a portal. I don't know. there's a portal like deep down in this like wizard's lair or something like that, and it's like a colored portal, and someone's like, oh, it's this color, it has to go into the Feywild. Well, you wouldn't know that because you're level 1. You know, right. So there would be no way of you knowing that because you literally just became an adventurer like 30 minutes ago when you killed that one goblin. So how the hell would you know about portals? So that's kind of that's a pretty classic example of metagaming.
Yeah, and then it's funny because like we all do it. It's not just in D&D as well, but like also when you're playing a video game, you're like, where will the developer be? Oh, look at this. These bricks are different colors. There must be, you know what I mean? Like it's just something that we constantly have.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about D&D is that it's a role playing game, right? So you have to actively role play your character and what your character knows and doesn't know. Because for me, when we started Curse of Strahd, it was really hard because I just got off DMing. So everything that you were doing, I was like, oh, I know what that's going. Oh,
well,
I know
not
what it's going.
not only did you get off DMing, but you played like the first 10 minutes. You played like the first 10% of that game. So so like for the first couple sessions, you're just like like just sitting back, like letting everything happen. So
well, I tried not to do that. I tried to like kind of role play like my character doesn't know this.
Yeah.
But like, you know, one big example was the freaking the meat pies. Dream pies, right? That's what it's called? In Strahd. Like I knew exactly what was gonna happen. Right? It was so hard for me to just not say anything and just like try to convince the group in a passive way to like at least taste it. But it didn't work out.
Right. And metagaming has, it's not a binary thing. It's very much on a scale of like what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. Like, for example, they the meat pie situation. Going back to that, everybody knew there was something up with those meat pies. like right. I didn't fool anybody. As ashamed as I was, I didn't fool anybody with it. But I believe it was Howard that came up with justification of like, yeah, everything in this place seems dangerous. So you know what? Even the air is trying to kill us. So I'm definitely not eating something. That would kind of be an acceptable form of metagaming, because he's like, wait a minute, something happened just now that showed this place is going to be a danger to us, and we've never heard of this place. We don't know who this is. I don't know who you are, old lady, selling me the meat pies. So you know what? I'm going to politely decline this empanada that you're trying to feed me.
Yeah, exactly. And but the same token as that, I think you mentioned the fact that like we've been on the road for a while. We haven't eaten anything solid, and these things smell crazy. It smell like the most delicious empanadas you've ever smelled in your life. So as a character, your character would have been inclined to try it because it's hungry. But us as player, we're like, nah, man, this is fishy as hell. And that's when metagaming is, as it smells like. You have to like acknowledge that you know that this is shady as hell, but think about like what will your character do.
Right. And that's honestly the biggest, if you definitely want to avoid metagaming, like if you're monitoring it and you want to avoid it, the biggest question you got to ask yourself, does my character know this? You might know it, but does my character know this? You know? And that's where the dissonance is going to be. So, I mean, up until that point, I don't believe that any of those characters have come across any cursed meat pies, but I mean, I don't know. El Torrell might be a sketchy place. So,
yeah. And it's not just like, oh, you know, like this is sketchy. It goes, I think there's a big old spectrum from like, oh, this old lady looks very sketchy selling empanadas in the middle of the night in Barovia, right? Because like that's something that like it's almost blended with what the character would think as well. But then there's the other end of the spectrum where like, especially if you're a DM that's playing and you're like, oh, this is a werewolf. Werewolves are probably weak to silver, or werewolf have this have AC of whatever and hit points of whatever. And if you've done a campaign with werewolves before and you see a werewolf, you're like, I know how to take care of this. You know what I mean?
But does your character?
Exactly. You know, and in those moments, I think it's a matter of asking the DM. You know, it's like and just like one thing I try to make very clear when we're playing is that when I'm talking outside of my character, I want to say, like, I try to say, like, you know, out of
character.
Out of character, you know, like, would my character know this? Since my character in this specific situation is a blood hunter. You know what I mean? And then the DM is up to his discretion to be all like, well, you know, you probably read a book about werewolves or two, blah, blah. You know this one specific piece of detail. It doesn't have to be the whole freaking thing.
Right,
either.
and there is leeway for metagaming. I'm not saying that your characters are completely oblivious to everything that's going on, but like the most classic
Right.
example would probably be, besides the werewolf, would probably be like a troll. And it's common knowledge amongst players that trolls are weak to fire. They don't get the regeneration from it, and because trolls are not uncommon in the world of D&D, it would probably be pretty common knowledge, at least amongst those that have taken up a sword or what have you. Like they would know, hey, trolls are weak against fire, so that it'd probably be like adventuring 101 kind of a deal. But
and not so much Adventure 101, but like if you think about it, in this world, trolls are kind of like one of the monsters that are most common closest to the main road, I guess you could say. Like travelers, traders just going by the road, like, oh, we were attacked by a troll. That's like the classic like bare beginnings of this world. So most people would know. It's kind of like in the real world when you know that I don't know, it would be a good example with snakes. Garden snakes, they're not poisonous. Like it's one of those things. So in that case, it will be fine. But like if you see a red dragon, you're like, well, that red dragon has this and this and this, and it's gonna do this.
If you see a red dragon, that's gonna be akin to seeing a god in flesh when you're level 1. So
exactly.
But yeah, that was a perfect real world example because we have a rhyme, which I forget right now, but we have a rhyme to remember which snakes are poisonous and which aren't. So it would totally. It would make perfect sense for me that there would be something akin to that in D&D.
Yeah.
But going back a little bit further, to the empanada situation, there, you guys were like asking, like, oh, do you have artwork for this character? I'm like, no, I don't. And the reason why is because I knew the second I showed you that artwork, they'd be like, no, this person is evil, because it is literally like an evil woman, like cackling over some meat pies. And I'm like, if I show them this, it's gonna tip off that she's evil. And right. I know I'm not trying to be antagonistic here, but I'm just trying to play the part that she would be doing, where she's essentially tricking people into eating these pies. So I want to give as little information as possible regarding that.
Yeah.
But
right. But that one was hard to sell. And again, going back to the meat, but the empanada situation, that's what it's going to be called now. The game didn't also give you a lot of tools to make it non-suspicious.
No.
Because the whole town is desolated, run down. It's Barovia, right. Like the village of Barovia. Like everybody's like an asshole. Everybody's like half dead. And then there's like this nice old lady with a cart selling meat pies. Like how suspicious is that?
Just a little old lady with just wheels a cart and through a choking fog that you can't see through. Yep. We're talking Silent Hills levels of fog. It's like, oh, would you like some pies? Like, yeah, no, fuck no, lady. Get the hell away. But again, that's kind of the gray area where metagaming is concerned.
So, to clarify, how do you avoid metagaming?
You just got to constantly ask yourself, would my character know this? And that's why you have things like a backstory, and you have like these skills and stuff like that. And so for like your characters in Curse of Strahd, you would know things about undead and stuff like that, particularly you and Smalldrax probably, because you studied the undead, you were like investigators and stuff like that, and you were trained monster hunters. But let's just say it's just like a normal like level, again, going back to level 1, and your backstory is that I just want to be an adventurer one day. Like, you wouldn't know those things that Vesemir would as a level 10 like adventurer. And that's where like your skills kind of come in handy, where you'd be like, hey, I have a really good history check. Like, would my history check tell me something about the architecture of this place that would kind of give me like a little bit of clues on like what kind of traps to expect? Because, oh, it's a Yuan-Ti temple. Naturally, there's going to be, I don't know, snake pits or some shit, whatever the Yuan-Ti use.
Vesemir would not be happy fighting Yuan-Ti.
No, but that
But like,
doesn't stop the Yuan-Tis from being
it's-
great enemies anyways.
yeah, right. But like you just said, like I feel like that's an excellent opportunity because like one big thing about, especially for our group, is that it falls to the side is role playing,
Mhm.
because for the most part, when we think role playing, we think of like, oh, I am the hero of whatever, I am here for and voices and all that stuff. But it doesn't necessarily just mean that. It also means what you just said. It means that as you're adventuring, you can ask those questions. Like, hey, have I seen this before? Hey, my character is an acolyte. Would he know what this is? Or like, I have skills in medicine. Could I identify the wounds on these things? And that those are the moments that you have to think specific, because I feel like a lot of people expect the DM to know that all the time. And unless you're Matt Mercer, you don't.
No.
Like half of the time when I'm DMing, I don't know what your characters can and cannot do.
You have to remember the DM probably has a 9-to-5 job, just like everybody else.
Yeah. So like, knowing your characters, the skills you have, the background you have, it could help you improve. Like the whole thing with Vesemir, I asked because the whole Vesemir and Rictavio thing. You mentioned that he's a hero from the books that Vesemir read as a child.
I never said he was a hero. I just said he literally wrote the book on monster hunting. You took it that he was a hero, then you got disappointed.
he was my hero, and he disappointed me. Never meet your heroes. But yeah, exactly. There you go. Role playing. Like when we introduced that character, that was one of the things that my character Vesemir asked, and not just that, but he gave me a little bit of knowledge, asking those questions about like vampires and some of the creatures in Barovia and stuff like that, because he wrote the book on killing monsters, and I was a monster hunter. So like, you know what I mean? And for the wizard and for like the warlock and for the the cleric, all of those, like you have to always keep in mind, you know your character the best. Your DM might know what your character can do because of depending on the certain things that you do all the time through repetition. But there might be like skills that you haven't even used. You just have to like look at them. It's like, hey, would my character know? Can I make a roll on this because my character is proficient in it? Will he understand this secret scripture or like this book that looks weird?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There's
that is another way of role playing. It's not necessarily just,
and it's not, that's a way to kind of justify like your metagaming. So it would be like, you come across some like spell effect, like somebody's under the effect of a spell, and the players know what it is. They've seen this before countless times, but the wizard's like, hey, can I use my Arcana check to see if I can determine what this is? Well, they rolled poorly. No, unfortunately, you don't. You know it's magic, but you don't quite know what it is. Okay, that's when the moment's like, all right, we don't know, quote unquote. Here's the air quotes. We don't know what happened, so we're just gonna have to kind of like, maybe there's clues, like context clues, like around the area. That's when we do like an LA Noire style thing, and the reason why it's so important to not metagame is because on one end of the spectrum, it's kind of like lighthearted, like, oh, haha, yeah, it's like whatever. I can't think of anything lighthearted at the moment, but give me a second.
It's very tough outside right now.
I know this year's been rough. I can't be lighthearted about anything. But it's like, they're like the least offensive part of that is that this item does not cost as much, and this guy is trying to like be a shyster and stuff like that. But the most offensive part is pretty much cheating.
Yeah,
and that's where you're like, nope, this guy is petrified. There's probably a Medusa around here, so we got to look for blah blah blah. Like, hold on a second. That's like half the adventure. That was like 3 sessions that you were supposed to,
right.
And
no, exactly, and that's why you have to like know, like constantly. In my mind, I'm always asking that, like, does Vesemir does, and sometimes I slip. Sometimes I don't do that because heat of the moment or whatever. But like, it's a thing you have to do as a player on a role playing game.
And it's difficult, but you just have to remember, Dungeons and Dragons is not a game that you win, quote unquote. It's supposed to be like a storytelling experience where the DM gives you something and you build on top of that, and the DM builds on top of that, blah blah blah, and you have like this like sort of like experiment thing going on. So I'm not saying like just go along with everything, but if like the DM is like, hey, here are some like breadcrumbs, what I'm trying to get at is that metagaming can really it can really like deflate a lot of gaming if you're like super like critical about metagaming and whatnot, and like really like into it kind of a deal. Like what's like you're constantly using it in your games.
Involved? No.
Like if you're in a party where there's one player that's aggressively metagaming and the DM is not calling them out on it, or none of the players are calling them out on it, and they just kind of roll with it, you're gonna like a lot of your games are gonna lose a lot of their merit and stuff like that, because a lot, at least for me, a lot of the enjoyment is kind of the growth and like the growth of my characters and watching them like kind of fail sometimes and watching them succeed in others. It's just sort of, it's most of the time it's not the destination, it's the journey, So,
right.
And I feel like metagaming is like a shortcut through that sometimes.
Exactly, because like I feel like the DM is already working on a piece of story or whatever it is. That it, like you said earlier with the Medusa example. Why are you just gonna like assume that it's a Medusa already? Maybe it's a petrification spell by a wizard somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you're jumping to a conclusion, harming your story and their story. Right. And you never know. Maybe the DM is just kind of like, oh fuck you. Well, it's just a statue now.
Exactly. Well, that's when the DM starts metagaming.
That's true. That's true. Wait, you're telling me that dungeon masters can metagame?
Dungeon masters can. I'm not saying they probably should, but they can metagame. And the only reason why I'm saying that, and
they are the game.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason why I'm saying that is because if the characters have a certain set of skills, and the only thing you have lined up are enemies that are going to be plowed right through by these characters, like where's the challenge in that? Where's the fun in that? To me, challenge equals fun. I like earning that good ending,
Yeah.
And so yeah, you can. I'm not saying you should be like super antagonistic about it, but say for example your characters are doing a lot of like a certain type of damage, like your characters for whatever reason your characters are doing a lot of cold damage. Well, here's an enemy that's resistant to cold damage, so deal with it.
But is that really metagaming, or is that just like adjusting the game based on?
Well, it would be metagaming if it was a published adventure and that monster was not in there, and you like plucked them from like Volo's guide and plopped them into the adventure because you knew like, haha, this would, this will show them. I'll get you this time.
Or if like the whole freaking game takes part in like a cold area with snow, and then all of a sudden there's a fire giant that shows up.
Just wait, what?
Yeah. Well, because everybody's doing fire damage to everything that's cold and whatever, and then the fire just fuck with them. The fire giant was like, ha, puto.
This would be the last place you expect me.
Yeah, I've been planning this my whole life. Well, with all this being said, is there acceptable ways of metagaming?
I think,
or forms of metagaming.
Probably the most acceptable way to metagame would be like, hey, ask your DM, hey, would my character know this? Or can I make a roll for X skill to like figure out what this is or something like that? Because like you're like, and you just really have to restrain yourself. It's a lot of restraint.
Yeah,
but you just and if it's included in your backstory, which is why it's important to build a good fucking backstory, if it's included in your backstory, then the DM might be like, hey, go ahead and roll that, but with advantage because you're knowledgeable against necromancy spells or what have you. So it's just, like that's also a good mechanical reason as to why you want to build a solid backstory. Don't do the 7-page biography. Just kind of include, hey, this person studied under this wizard and he was really good at abjuration, so maybe I know a thing or two about abjuration magic, blah blah blah, kind of a thing. I don't know, can you think of any acceptable forms of metagaming?
I think that's the biggest one, only because it helps improve the narrative of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like what you just said, because like if you're just based it off like, can I do an investigation check? 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 Like that just gets boring. Like, no, having a good backstory and bringing that into play, the DM will be very happy to. DMs, Dungeon Masters are not against metagaming, 100%. Like, we like that you think about this kind of stuff, but you have to justify why you want to bring that into the game. And these are perfect moments to like bring that up. Like, hey, my character once saw a red dragon fly above the sky. Can he recognize this one?
I mean, why? Or something that's like, hey, I grew up in a swamp. Would I recognize the tracks of a black dragon? Probably. I mean, I certainly hope not, but you never know. Roll me a nature check to see if you do. And again, I want to reiterate what Jose said. We're not against metagaming. DMs should not be against metagaming, only to the point where it doesn't ruin the game. Once it starts impeding on people's fun, that's when, all right, and there were a couple of times where you had to say it, and I had to say it a couple of sessions where, hey, you don't know that.
Yeah.
So.
And it's what's it called? It's that's my train of thought. Anyways, but yes, we're not against metagaming. It can improve the story. It can change things up for characters and for the narrative itself.
And it might make things fun for the characters, because it's like, okay, we're in this monster's cave. There's like signs of like not evisceration. What's the word? Like beholder magic, like there's a petrified guy. Here's a dude that was disintegrated. Okay, I'm gonna roll an arcane check to see if I know what this is. I failed. Fuck. Okay, I know it's a beholder. The rest of us don't. Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. And like that reminds me a lot of like the Tomb of the Nine Gods is a section with the beholder. By the way, a section that you missed. And the whole area had like the spores that beholders leave in their layers with the eyeballs and stuff like that. And Howard immediately said, "Oh, this is a beholder." A beholder layer.
You don't know that.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
You weren't supposed to do that.
You were supposed to. That's illegal. But right after that,
you gotta call the D&D police on you.
But to be fair, he did roleplay well on the fact that like, oh, I'm gonna investigate this sport because it looks very interesting. Since he was he a wizard?
I believe he was a wizard. Which would make sense. He would probably know things about aberrations and stuff like that. Yeah. And again, it really all boils down to, as long as you can roleplay well enough to justify it, you could probably get away with some metagaming.
Yeah, because there's no way to get away from 100% metagaming. There's no way. You just have knowledge, especially for us DMs that play. Talking about that, how about players that come from other campaigns or have played different campaigns and bring that knowledge into the new campaign?
That's the hard, but probably that's one of the hardest things to not do, besides being a DM and then becoming a player in somebody else's campaign. And okay, so a very good example is that you're in obviously the last dungeon. There's thunder out and like the sun's gone dark and like a whole bunch of like menacing shit's happening. And you come across something that's like really suspicious, and immediately everyone's like, nope, that's a trap. And you're like, you don't know that. You've never encountered this thing before. You only know that because you pulled the wrong lever in Tomb of the Nine Gods and you got sent into the crocodile pit.
And I just want to say for everybody in our group, a little bit of backstory. Like, I think people get like one of the running jokes right now is that Vesemir is like touching and poking everything in the freaking castle,
Mhm.
right? And they're like, why? Like, Heather specifically, her warlock is like, why do you keep doing this?
She took up smoking because of you.
Yeah, she is the warlock. She's the only good one, by the way. Anyways, but the reason why I do that is not that I don't know that there's traps there. Like, I definitely know is that it's more likely a trap. It's more likely something that's gonna harm me. But when Talaxia, the rogue, rolls a low on a trap check or investigation check, people are like, "Oh well, I'm not gonna go because it's a low check." It's like, no, the low check means that you think
Yeah, exactly.
safe.
She rolled a bad investigation check, so she's like, yeah, you know, we're good.
Yeah, and it's not like anything against Talaxia. That's not the thing. Like, Vesemir trusted Talaxia because she's been doing this for a while. That's like what her job is, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, oh yeah, she's the rogue. She knows what she's fucking talking about. And you just walk right into the trap.
And then I walk right into a trap, which like it pissed me off a little bit, obviously, because like it took a lot of health and stuff. But like I didn't bitch about it. I was like, is there anything down here? And then there was like a dead body. It was like, I pickpocketed it.
That was so great. I'm getting something out of this, damn it.
And then after that, Vesemir didn't trust Alexia for a while. And like, you know, I kept bringing it up during gameplay, and I really hope that Aaron doesn't think that I was picking on her. Because like I kept saying like, I don't trust you anymore. Like, you're going in front of me now. But it's because like now that my character knows that Alexia lies sometimes or doesn't know, like he's just not gonna trust her.
To be fair, however, if you did want to justify metagaming, you need to keep in mind that the first 2 times there was a trap, she failed in her investigation check. And she's like, there's no traps here, and then like got like poison needles like in the eye and stuff like that. I mean, so if you really wanted to, you could probably swing that.
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like it led up to like fun, ridiculous stories of like Vesemir having this like small grudge against Alexa for setting him into a trap, and like, you know, once again, like people like I know that Heather gets pissed off because I'm always like activating everything.
I think she's getting pissed off because like we have to use our spell slots to cure you.
I didn't ask for your help. Anyways, but the thing is, like, my character got 2 flaws from like dark gifts. It was like he wants power no matter what, and life is pointless, and I welcome death. So like, what the fuck is he gonna do when he sees an obviously magical item laying right there? He's just gonna go for it.
You're like, fuck it, I don't care. This thing kills me. As long as I get to feel powerful for that 0.1 second that I'm still alive, then that's fine.
Because, like, as a player, I know that my character can die any minute with these flaws. As a player. But my character, he's going to do that regardless, you know? And then when he tries not to because he doesn't want to get hurt, you know, because self-preservation and all that, my brain as a player is like, wait a minute. He doesn't care about that. He's okay with that. You know? And then the worst part is, like, when there's, like, the item is right there, nobody wants to touch it. I just imagine Vesemir just itching to like touch it. He's like tapping his fingers.
He's just like sitting there like rubbing the legs of his pants like, come on, man. Is no one gonna go for it? Alright, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it.
That's pretty much my whole character.
Worth it.
I love my character. I love how he went from chaotic good to being chaotic evil, and then having the flaws of power over anything and death. And like, talking about metagaming, the thing with the dark gift, with the vampire dark gift, spoilers by the way. I had to think really hard on how to justify that, to not kill Rictavio at the moment and become a vampire. Right. Like, my brain hurt after that because I was like, how the fuck? Because as a player, I didn't want to do it. But my character, sure enough, was going to do it. But, like, how do I justify it? And I came up with the whole thing, like, oh, I want to be powerful. I don't want to be a slave.
Yeah, it was a really like
Anyways.
long, like roundabout way. I'm like, all right, fine, just break the goddamn stone.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we know. Just... but
Pretty
but
much, man. Jesus Christ.
And again, I think a lot of people. I think metagaming can kind of break down into like 2, maybe 3 categories of players. And that is, one of them is they can't help but metagame, like, oh shit, I know this, and they just like blurt it out, kind of a thing. Yeah,
Blur it out. I fall into
and that's
that
fine. That's like the most innocent of the 3 categories. And then there's the second one where it's like the self-preservation thing, where it's like, I don't want my character to die. I have grown, like I like maybe you've like not gotten close to them, but like you've grown attached to them. That's what I meant to say. You've grown attached to them, and like I don't want my character to die. I'm pretty invested in them, so I'm going to take any route I can to not have them come to harm. And then the third one's, I'm going to win D&D. Fuck you if you say that.
I went in D&D and it was advanced.
Yeah, no, the third one's the most egregious. That's for people that steal the DM's notes and then come back and try to play it off. Justin, fuck you.
Yeah, dude, and like that's the hard thing, because like I don't want Vesemir to die. Like I love his character and the way, like how far he's come.
He's had real fucking bad shift. I'm talking like complete 180.
Yeah.
And again, keep in mind, you guys have only been like broke for like a long week.
I know.
So,
it's been a very long week.
like you haven't even reached like payday Friday yet for like your character.
Yeah, but that's what, like, dude, I'm constantly thinking like, does my character know this? And sometimes I fucking slip and I let it slip anyways. Mm-hmm. You know, so metagaming is not something you can always avoid, but you have to be aware of it.
You're never gonna get it down to 0, but you do have to try you do have to try really hard to get it to that point. And you just have to constantly keep asking yourself, does my character know this? You know, or can my character know this, kind of thing? And it might role play into like some really funny things where
exactly. And so far I haven't died.
Where it's like, oh, I'm gonna roll an intelligence check to see if this is a trap. And there's like a dead body, like hung up on a spear that didn't like retract to the roof. And you're like, that's fine. You know?
But you have to roleplay. You have to go with it. Like, you know what I mean? You can't be like maybe another player would be like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But like your character who failed a roll needs to go through with it, because for him in his mind, it's perfectly fine.
mean, the classic, a very good classic example of that would be like, you know, you come across an obvious spike pit trap. There's like leaves on the ground and shit. And
Team Rocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like a tarp. And the DM says, okay, give me an investigation check to see if it's or a perception check to see if it's a trap. And the rogue rolls good, the cleric rolls good, but everyone else rolls bad. And so as everyone was like, oh, there's no trap here. And just keep walking. And now it's up to the other 2 guys to not get them into the bungee pit.
Exactly. Those are moments I live for, man. It's like silly shenanigans based on
it's like, no, damn it, no.
And now like the whole freaking I love the fact that the whole party, that like every time somebody's in trouble with me, they call everybody's name except for mine.
like when he does
like, oh no, Vesemir, I want to show you.
Oh no. It's got to the point now where it's like, he can take care of himself, he's fine. He can either take care of himself or he got himself into this mess. He's fine.
Which it's funny because like when I first started doing all that bullshit, I fucking hated it. I hated it because I know all this stuff. My previous character could justify the fact of not touching that or not stepping into this, being more cautious. But the new character just like the new alignment and the new flaws and everything. He does not give a shit.
Well, and even on top of that, even before the whole like flaws and stuff like that, your character was like super curious about dead things. So hey, if there's a dead body attached to that wall, and you're not going to be like worried about the spike that's jutting through its eyeball. You're just going to be like, hey, let's see what that dead body's all about.
Exactly. So, that was the chaotic part. But even then, like I could justify like, oh well, I'm gonna take a sketch from this, and I'm not gonna touch it. But now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna poke it to see like, you know, what the consistency of this skin is.
It got this far. Has it got anything good on it?
Exactly. And that was like, and I don't know if this is like a level of metagaming that's like even more meta than metagaming, but like one thing I hugely struggled with this time around was the harsh switch in alignment. And this is, I call this, I guess it falls into like a pseudo metagaming situation because as a player, and not just role playing player, but like video game player, like anything, I've always been like, when there's a good or bad path, I always take the good path because I like the shiny white armor. You know, like when there's decisions, I take the good decision because I want to be the heroic, blah, blah,
also,
blah. You know, like that's
also,
always been
I don't
me.
want to make the NPCs sad.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like, for me, it's always been that way. Like, you know, like, oh, kill or spare. Oh, I'll spare him, you know, because I'm a good guy, blah, blah, blah. That's always been my thing ever since ever. Like, always. Every time I try to play a bad character, it ends up switching to a good character eventually. You know, it's always been me. So switching to having to roleplay a evil aligned character, a chaotic evil too, not even just like a lawful evil, but a chaotic evil, complete switch. And the whole time I'm playing it, I know it sounds like, for the most part, it sounds spontaneous when I say stuff like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go follow him and kill him. But like, it's not. Like in my brain, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to kill this guy, but what would my character do? Well, he picked up an axe against us. He didn't use it, but he still picked up an axe against us. So I'm gonna go follow him and kill him.
Are you talking about when you murdered Emil in cold blood?
I murdered like 3 people already in cold blood, you know, but like this fucker looked at me wrong. Like that's what I do. You know what I mean?
Looked at me wrong.
You got to lean into your role play opportunities.
Right.
You know, when you told me to just go for the chaotic evil and just like have fun with it, I took that too hard. I was like, fine.
And that's like top 10 on my list of regrets. I'm like in my life. but like another good example of bad metagaming was actually from Tomb of the Nine Gods. When we were in that was like weird like underground harbor part, and there was an aboleth that was talking to us. And I just went immediately, nope, guys, we need to leave. Let's get the fuck out. And because I knew as a DM and as a player what an aboleth can do, my character probably did not. And I sincerely regretted that because that could have been some wacky shit. And it's moments like that can kind of deflate a game. And that's what you gotta look out for.
It would have been a lot more tense for sure if you guys would have like engaged him in conversation.
I know, and it was like immediately like the session after that, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
But it's fine, you know why? Because that area was such a fucking pain to like mechanically run. So I was kind of happy that you took that away from me because I didn't want to deal with that. Remember, because it was like a bunch of like gear rooms that had to like spin depending on how you activated certain like levers and stuff. Like it was really hard to like keep track of all that already, even with Roll20. So like I'm like, okay, it's fine. Don't talk to this.
That's right. You're doing me a favor.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. You slide me a 20. No, but you know, I'm just saying, like, there have been some moments, and I can't recall right now any times that's happened, but there have been some moments where like players have metagamed, and I was just like, all right, you know, and like I'm not saying it's like ruined the game for me, but it's like, okay, well, you know, you missed out on some fun there, you know.
Yeah.
So
out of curiosity, because I know we both said it a couple times.
Out of curiosity, who's the worst metagamer in our group? Well,
Stay tuned to find out.
On part 2. Anyways.
Part 2, and then the title is the worst.
Just all caps.
The worst metagamer, fam. How would you deal with this as a DM and as a player? Actually, like, do you have like any like guidelines for new DMs or just experienced DM?
With what exactly?
With metagaming.
That just,
as in like when players metagame, like, is there a way to
just
step 1 through 3 or how to like deal with that bullshit?
I mean, okay, so if you're a DM and one of your players is obviously metagaming, or not even obviously metagaming, but something like that, I'm not saying call them out on it, like, be like, hey, you, stop that, but be like, hey, does your character know this? Or kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or
that's an excellent question to use every time.
And or you can, if you want to be like even like more subtle and like less, what's the word, confrontational about it, you can kind of lean into like what their character is. So like, for example, like if you're tracking like a green dragon through a forest or something like that, and the ranger is metagaming about this, or you can kind of detect that the ranger is metagaming about this, and you'd be like, hey, does your ranger have like a good nature check? Maybe they can roll and find out exactly what you know, or what the ranger would know about that kind of a thing. So that way, it kind of like says to the player, hey, here is how you can justify you knowing what you want your character to know. You know? So, right. I mean, but there are, unfortunately, there's just going to be some moments where you just have to call them out on that. When it gets to the point that, like, you're in an ancient temple that has not been seen by the eyes of man for 2,000 years, and they obviously know where all the traps are. You're like, okay, dude, come on. That's when you got to pull them aside.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that. I think a good stern, hey, your character doesn't know that. It's as far as I go. I won't be like, come on, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I don't think.
What?
I was gonna say, I don't think anybody in our group is like that bad. Like, we all metagame, but we for the most part we try to like keep it to a minimum.
And I mean, and 9 times out of 10, the metagaming is just like inconsequential, stupid stuff. Like yeah, I know for a fact a potion of healing is not 300 gold. You are trying to like screw me out of some gold, my friend. But then there are some times where it's like, oh, this is obviously a trap. Like, well, how would you know that? You've never came across something like this before. Kind of a deal. So
yeah, I think personally, me as a DM will have to like, because I do that too. Like, I fall into the other DMing. They're metagaming, but I'm also metagaming because obviously this is a trap, so they know that this is a trap. Mm-hmm. But like, I have to step back and be like, well, wait, hold on. Like, just because you say that you know it's a trap and I know that it's a trap, and we both know that it's a trap, doesn't mean that your character knows it's a trap.
Also, that actually reminds me of something. Also, keep in mind, what your character knows is not what the other characters know. So
true.
So for going back to the ranger going after the green dragon thing, like the ranger finds like the tracks and the marks of the green dragon and rolls a really good nature check and finds out it's an adult green dragon, and they're like level 3 at this point. They are no match for an adult green dragon. The DM tells the ranger, hey, it's an adult green dragon. And then the ranger's like, oh, okay. But then, like, the sorcerer's like, oh shit, it's an adult green dragon. We need to get the hell out of here. No. The ranger knows it's an adult. So now the ball is in their court if they want to give out that information.
Yep. No, I 100% agree with that, because I find myself doing that too. You're playing, especially when you're playing. I guess in Roll20 now has like the whisper thing that you did the one time,
but that still kind of ticks some like that'll tip people off. Like, hey, he's doing the whisper thing. There's some suspicious shit going on.
Right? No, exactly. But at least there's that tool. But when you're playing on tabletop, everybody's gonna hear. There's no like, unless you pass like a note or something. But like, that looks sketchy as shit.
Right.
So like, I guess no, you're right. It's 100%, because like, we got split last time too, and when the party got split, we both did a pretty good job about like,
not knowing what's going on.
Group A didn't know what Group B was doing.
Like, it was A team and gold team.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
A team and gold team. Which A team, which was Howard and I, were just like chilling in the library.
You were
and I was
literally
just-
taking a nap. Just...
Yeah. But there's been time where like the party is like in two, not necessarily like two completely different parts of the dungeon, but like far apart enough for the characters not to be able to hear each other. Where like we fall into the trap of like, oh, you found the room you were looking for, and the other group is like, okay, we'll go over there. You know, like no, you don't know that. Like, and that's something that the whole group has to like kind of acknowledge. Like, oh, we don't know what they're doing, so we're gonna keep going in this direction. Like for as backwards as it sounds, and as it feels like you're doing wrong because you're doing wrong, but that's part of the fun.
Right.
Because if the other group gets in trouble in the treasure room, you might be able to hear an explosion or a fight or something, but it'll take you some time to get there. And now the other group has to, stand their ground until you get there with backup.
Well, I think
so. It can lead up to a lot of like really cool fun stuff.
I think like a really good classic example of that would be like that moment where you were stuck in the prison cell, and then Strahd shows up, and an example of bad metagaming would be Strahd shows up, and and you and Strahd have to roll initiative. Well, everyone else is like, oh shit, initiative. We need to get over to find him. We're like, well, hold on. You're dealing with this whole lantern hourglass situation. And just 20 minutes ago, you were saying, oh, it's Vesemir. He'll take care of himself. So what's up with these like maternal instincts kicking in all of a sudden? I'm just...
Call me mom so I can pick up this car.
I can't. You're adopted. There was a sketch like that, and I'm trying my damnedest to remember what it was because it's been stuck in the back of my mind for a while. And
is it a Key and Peele or?
I'm not into. It might be a Key and Peele, but like that would be an example of bad metagaming. Yeah. That didn't happen, but that would still be an example of bad metagaming. But an example of good metagaming was what you did, was where you were like, help, and stuff like that, and people had to roll perception checks, like, oh shit, I hear Vesemir screaming.
Which involuntarily that has been Vesemir's secret weapon this whole time. Because if you remember back to the Baron's mansion or whatever the hell in Vallaki when we first were like sneaking around and like we went downstairs and we found the Baron and we were in trouble and Vesemir just started screaming. It's like, oh, Baron, it's you. I am here where you left us.
Why are you talking so loud?
I am a nervous person. I have to like roleplay that.
It's a nervous tick. I have to talk into the doorway, facing the stairs.
But then people rolled really high perceptions and they heard me screaming the exact instructions of what I was
right. Yeah, exactly. So that's a way to get around metagaming. It's
right.
It's stupid, but it works.
But it made for a great story.
It did,
and now a character flaw or perk that I have.
If we ever hear Vesemir screaming, that's when bad shit's happening. When he's quiet, that's fine.
They're gonna put a little bell on my neck, click, 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 to see what I'm doing.
Wait a minute. Vesemir's been quiet for too long. Something's up. But yeah, that's an excellent way to get around metagaming.
Yeah, and it leads to like the whole thing. Like we're not against metagaming; it's just making it part of the story. So, like it's fun.
Right. It really it's how best can you justify it into the game? At the end of the day. So
and yeah, like obviously the whole table knows what's happening. It's like. You can't be like role playing in real life and expect everybody else to.
But again, that's half the fun. It's like me, like Vesemir squaring off against the final boss in a 5x5 room. Meanwhile, the rest of the group's like, "What does this stone do?" And they're just like 20 feet away, and like in the background, you're like, yeah, it's shit like that.
Oh man, there you go. Good metagaming, bad metagaming. Metagaming happens all the time. I think everybody is constantly metagaming. It's just really about how to make it part of the story in a fun and interesting way. That's the challenge. That's the role playing.
You're not going to get 100% away from it, but you do. It is up to you to kind of keep it down as far as you can. So.
Right. Don't be a dick. Don't be the whole like, oh, you know, this. We've gone through all the hallways. This is obviously the main one because it has whatever. You know, like I've seen this before, or like none of that bullshit. And like, you always remember, like, yes, you've played 3-4 campaigns before, but this is a brand new campaign. Your character hasn't seen what your other characters have seen. You know, so like, always keep that stuff in mind. And just some of the best moments I've had in D&D are because we're metagaming hard, but we try to make it part of the story in the most ridiculous way possible.
Just tried their best to justify it.
Yeah. And for the most part, the DM is always like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, my uncle was an expert trap maker. I know all about these kinds of things. What? That's not.
He was a trap maker for the SRAC.
That wasn't in your backstory. It is now. Hold on a second.
Oh man, shit. Well, with that, Andrew, do you have any crazy campaign highlights from the last few sessions?
Oh, there was one. Yes, the final roll of the last session.
Oh my god! All right, you gotta tell the story.
Okay, so you guys are deep within the bowels of Castle Ravenloft, and you're searching for Irina, and you come across this big glowing crystal heart that's like pulsating and like it's eerie and shit like that. And in the middle of it, Irina is floating in like kind of like she's sleeping, sort of a thing. And
it's Snow White.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I was trying to think of that. And then all of a sudden, everything just kind of pops off at once. there's like a heavily armored dude with like a knife or with a sword, and he starts squaring off against you guys. And then like all these like flying halberds start coming in, and vampires spawn, and like they're clearly trying to like protect the heart thing.
Yeah.
You fight off the bad guys. You launch the knight off the fucking ledge, and he falls.
You gotta tell how though.
Okay, so the cleric, the cleric is the one that's going toe to toe with him, like he got like face to face with him, and the cleric's like blindness, boom, and casts blindness on this guy. He goes blind, starts swinging around, and then like out of a fucking frat party, just kneels down behind him and like gives Vesemir, who is locked on like a fucking missile.
He's flying like 50 feet above the
Gives
air.
Vesemir the thumbs up, and Vesemir just torpedoes this dude, knocks him over with small attacks, and he plummets something like 600 feet. I'm like, there's no way this guy survived this. Anyways, so you guys fight off the baddies, and you guys are trying to come up with this plan. Like, okay, we got to break this heart thing. You guys try to use some magic, but it didn't work. And you're like, okay, we're just gonna have to break this heart. We got a net. We're gonna have you like cover these four corners, kind of a thing. And like you're trying to do
the heart is floating like in the top of the tower.
Yeah,
because it's a spiral staircase and it just goes down straight like 600 feet.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. You guys set the net first, and then I think either Lilith was going to, or Lilith told Rictavio to use Dispel Magic. I forget which one exactly. And they tried that, and it didn't work. And then Vesemir's like, fuck it. Drops the net and starts swinging. And Smalljack's like, hey, that's a good idea, too. Drops the net and starts swinging. And so now the net is pretty much worthless. and between that and you guys, and I think Lilith's Shatter spell, I might be misremembering. You guys...
No, I think Lily just hit it with a regular hit. He's like, oh, that sounds all right.
Okay. Well, anyways, you guys broke the heart, and Irina starts plummeting. Now, keep in mind, I looked this up beforehand because I'm like, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. I looked this up beforehand. I'm like, falling speed 5e, 500 feet per round. Holy shit. So I said, okay, it's going to come down to one roll, and I had to iterate this as best as I can. One person makes a dex save, just one. If I see like 5 different rolls, I'm not going to count them. and they're like, okay, it's got to be you, Taloxia. You're the best. You're the one that's got the best dex save. It's just like, okay, all right. and she hits it, and we're all waiting with bated breath, and like Roll20's been acting up this whole time, so it took like a good like 5-6 seconds, and fucking natural 20. It was something like a 30 or some
30,
shit like that. Yeah, a natural 20, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
It has been a while since everything came down to just one roll,
and it was dead quiet while we were waiting for the results of that roll.
Oh, it was beautiful, and I had like the 3D dice on, so I looked at the dice rolling, and it legit did the thing with like in my head, it's slow motion into the 20, and I'm like, yes.
So
it was
so then naturally you guys saved Irina, and that was like literally the last minute of that session. So yeah,
it was good. It was so fucking epic. It was so tense too.
And it's moments like that. It's moments like it comes out of this one dice roll, because if she hadn't gotten a nat 20, if she rolled badly, well, there she goes.
Which I was like, holy shit, we killed Irina, because I swear it was gonna be like, what was the DC that you had in mind? Just so I'm gonna tell you, like, I thought the DC that I thought you had in mind was like a 25.
The DC I had in mind was fairly high. Like it wasn't. It was higher than a 15, which was always my default DC. It was higher than a 15, but it wasn't quite as high as a 25. I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, oh, dude, we fucked this up.
Yeah. No. I want it to be something that's like a really good roll, or not even a really good roll, but a good roll would do it. But a bad roll is like sure failure kind of a thing, you know, because it's like it's a dramatic moment, you know.
Yeah.
you got to have these moments. You got to have them. You got to have that tension.
It was so good, dude. It was so fucking tense. I'm so sad that Howard missed it, but like, oh, it was so good.
What's up?
No, so like mine actually was not from this session, but the session before. And I don't know why, but like it stuck with me, is when we found the chamber with that creepy girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we find like secret door after secret door after secret door, and then it's like a hallway with statues.
Mm-hmm. The fucking statues.
Like, I don't know if you meant it to be like that, but the statues were actually kind of friendly.
I mean,
but Vesemir just straight up annoys them the whole time, calls them by the wrong name, doesn't take their advice at all.
It started out because it was supposed to be like, oh, these statues will answer yes or no questions, kind of a thing, and they might be lying, blah blah blah. But it's just like, hey, you know what? That's fine. We can have we can have a little bit of fun with this, but. I had to text you after the session. I'm like, you guys have this amazing ability to make people hate you literally 30 seconds after they meet you. I don't know how.
Because the same thing happened to us, to the Lich and the Emperor Town.
It's just like,
and let's be honest, it's not the group. It's just Vesemir. Don't try to sugarcoat.
Your character is fucking annoying.
I like to think it's annoying in the best way possible.
Like, cause
all I remember is like we came back because we did like a loop, and then like we saw the statues after we talked to them and everything, and the guy was like, the spirit inside the statue was like relieved that we left because I was being so annoying. Yeah. But then we make a loop around, and then Vesemir's like, oh look, our statue friends.
No.
And all you hear is someone.
No, god damn it.
That was so good. Didn't I? Oh, what was the other thing? Because it was like a statue, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's like,
oh, and then he tried to pick him up.
He was like talking about like the castle and stuff. Like he didn't know much about the castle. And my thought process inside my head is like, well, we can probably like take him with us, and then he'll tell us if it's correct or not. So I pick him up. And he's just like, what the hell are you doing?
You pick him up.
No, you're going to guide us through the castle.
You pick him up, completely forgetting that, like, almost every important NPC has said, yes, Castle Ravenloft was built by Strahd after he conquered Barovia. And it's like, hey, here's a statue. He must know everything about the castle.
Yeah.
Just...
And then I don't know what happened, but I put him back. But I put him back like tilted to the side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then the session after that, we opened another room that had 2 statues, and I'm like, oh, our statue friends. And it was a fucking like a massive amount of rats.
Yeah.
Humanoid, right?
Oh god.
So like everybody knew that it was not the statues. Again, metagaming, right? But like Vesemir is like, oh look, statues. It's like the statues back there. So he just walks. It's like our statue friends, and he just gets jumped by a massive amount of.
My favorite part about that. First of all, the tidal wave of rats hitting Vesemir. But second of all, Small Drax dispatching these rats in the most disgusting way possible. Just fucking scooping them up and eating them. Like to the point that the other like members of the party were like dry heaving in the corner watching this.
And it was instantly too. Like, and it's not like he scooped them up with his hand. He was flying. Yeah. Like those, what is the name of those birds that like catch
pelican?
Fish? A pelican.
Yeah, because he got like what, second highest in the initiative or something like that. So he just like he probably didn't even like notice that you were being attacked. He just like food, and he just like swore right on it. Oh god!
And everybody was like about to throw up. The best part is that like the rats makes us throw up, but not the dead bodies or the bones or like all the weird shit.
Oh yeah, no. You guys came across like some seriously worse stuff, but no rats. No, that's my breaking point.
Nah. Too far, Strat. And then later on, we go up the stairs, and then I open the door, and it's like a bunch of like cats, but like all Vesemir sees is like darkness. And like green eyes looking at him, and he's just like, nope.
Yeah, you know what? No, that's all right.
And then who was it? Was it Talaxia or Heather? It was just like, why would you have the cats here if the rats are dusty? Whoever designed this castle doesn't know anything.
Castle design. Oh my god.
I love the fact that we're in the last fucking dungeon and we're still like just stumbling.
Yeah, just goofing off and stuff like that.
It's Charles probably waiting for us and his like whatever he's saying. He's just like, oh my god, are they gonna get
it's just any minute now.
By the way, at this point, because of the way the party's treating me, I think I'm gonna join Strahd at the end.
I mean, look at everything you've been doing.
Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, every time we kill somebody that or something that's been close to Strahd, like his horse, his right hand man, Rehagin. Who was the other one? Because I had 3 hits.
His boyfriend.
Oh, and then
his boyfriend.
His boyfriend. So every time we kill one of those, I just decapitate them, and I have their heads hanging on my belt.
Yeah, you know, just fuck it. Why not?
I'm planning this once I see Strahd, like, Strahd! And you just like throw the heads at him. It's like, look what you did.
I know. Okay, so going back to the head thing, I like how one of the okay. Your character does not take social cues, apparently. Because one of the very first things when you encounter the statue, like, oh yeah, we met him, check out, look, here's his head. He just immediately like shoved a severed head of Rahadin in his face.
Oh man. It's been great.
It's been something.
It's been amazing. I don't know. If you guys want to catch this shenanigans in live, we go live almost every. Actually, so far it's been almost. It's been every Wednesday. You know, whenever life happens, we don't do it. But like for the most part, Wednesdays, attackofopportunity.twitch. I mean .tv, twitch.tv/attackofopportunity. Yeah, whatever. On Twitch and Facebook.
Talk of opportunity. That's I don't fucking know.
Oh man. Yes, and I want to thank everybody who's been following us on Facebook because that means a lot to us. It's been the past like 2 weeks. It's been like 21 people. That's crazy.
It's been a worrying amount of followers for me. I'm like, oh god, now I have to like hold up a standard.
Now people are listening to us. Oh. Fuck. Oh well. Yes, metagaming.
Don't do it. But I mean, try not to.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't have any news. Do you have any news? Oh wait, do you want to talk about the scroll of Tarask summoning?
Oh shit!
Okay, so Chris Perkins.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
So Chris Perkins came out with a tweet that said, I'm summarizing here. He goes, here's a little sneak peek of content from Rime of the Frost Maiden for when you absolutely need to kill every single motherfucker in the room. and it was a legendary item called the Scroll of Tarask Summoning. And it's essentially, you read it, and a Tarask gets summoned a mile away from you. You are not friendly with it. It is not friendly to anybody. It just happens.
I just thought it was like a casual. It's just a casual tweet about it.
And I'm just like,
and
I saw that. I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen in Rime of the Frost Maiden? Why?
I also love like some of the comments were like, Chris, why?
No, Chris, no, man.
Oh man,
that's all I got.
Yeah, the Tarask. Oh,
what
dude.
the fuck is actually gonna happen in Rime of the Frost Maiden? I
don't know, man, but it's gonna be epic. Apparently.
That's either gonna be, if I really had to speculate on it, that's either gonna be like an item that is shoved in the deepest, darkest corner of that module. You will never actually find it unless the DM guides you to it. Or
because I was thinking maybe it's like the main thing that people are going after, but I don't think they would show that.
No, that's probably like the MacGuffin, you know, like oh god, some crazy wizard came up with the Scroll of Tarask summoning. We had to get rid of it for obvious fucking reasons.
Wait, you actually wanted it?
Yeah, wait, what? No, give me the scroll.
Bad.
Either that, or that's probably going to be like some sort of set piece kind of a thing that, like, I don't know, will either be like the main climax of the story or maybe leading to something else. I'm really confused.
Yeah.
So,
but yes, there's a fucking scroll of summoning Tarask.
Why?
In other news, there's a couple of releases happening. Theros happened this week. I saw the book had cool stuff. I wanted it so bad, but I'm like, no, I don't have money for that right now.
Why didn't you get it?
There is,
Why didn't you get it?
Because I'll get it eventually, but not right now. The next thing that's releasing is Cutie Marks and Dragons.
What?
It's a My Little Pony and Dungeons and Dragons crossover.
All right, we're done.
It has a custom dungeon master screen in an exclusive D20 die. Well, they did. To be fair, though, they did make an adventure before for My Little Pony, and for what I heard, it was actually kind of fun. You know, but it's My Little Pony.
Yeah, so. No, I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole for pretty obvious reasons.
The other release that we have is Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden die set. It hasn't released yet, but it will release soon. But they announced it. It looks gorgeous. As usual. It's in the same vein as the dice for like Avernus or the dice for what's the other one that they had?
Oh,
Silverhand.
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially for Waterdeep. It actually didn't even say like Dragon Heist. It just said Waterdeep.
Right. So, yeah.
Because even they didn't want to acknowledge Dragon Heist.
Yeah. But this looked really nice. And then the other thing that caught my attention is, I send you a link so you can see it, is the Adventure Begins, a co-op board game for Dungeons & Dragons.
Now, what is this?
I saw it the other day and I forgot to click on it. It is, for what I understand, it is in the sense of like, remember like Hero Quest, like all that kind of stuff? Like that. It's like a dungeon build, and you have like your characters and stuff like that. So some of the key features that I'm looking here on the website, it's a quick entry to Dungeons and Dragons. So it's designed for 2 to 4 players, 10 years and older. Okay. It's a competitive fantasy game. It's a quick gameplay. But it's essentially, it's a choose your journey type thing. You build you build the board seems to be asymmetrical. And you have your adventures. Each adventure has their skill cards. And then you just go through the freaking board and kill things and get money and more items and buy weapons and stuff like that. So it looks like a fun little quick game for Dungeons and Dragons. You know, which is something that you not usually hear when you hear quick games of Dungeons and Dragons.
No, this would actually probably be better to introduce more people into Dungeons and Dragons than I would say even the starter set, because even this because as someone that had or is trying to get people into Dungeons and Dragons through the starter set, it's still a bit overwhelming, even though 5e has streamlined a lot of features.
Because this is not something that people usually think about in gaming. Like, to be fair, like when I first heard about Dungeons and Dragons and I heard that it was a rule book, like a thick book, that is already like now looking back, I'm like, that's fucking stupid. You obviously don't read the whole thing in one go. You're
just one book.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Just one book. But yeah, no, it looks fun. Apparently, there's a bunch of different monsters you can choose. So I guess it's like the players against the monsters. But there's you can fight Felbris, the Beholder, Orn, the Fire Giant, Death Sleep, the Green Dragon, or the Kraken. Just the Kraken doesn't have a name.
The Kraken, and then
yeah,
in parentheses Kraken.
Kraken. Yeah. and then it's just like you just move through the board. There's different scenarios that pop up, and then so essentially, Dungeons and Dragons, dungeon crawl, but there's no dungeon master. The dungeon master is the book.
Okay.
So as you move, you pull cards. Certain cards do certain things, certain encounters, events, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you move forward.
I can actually see because I really appreciate that they said it's for ages 10 and up, because I know there's like a lot of people out there. I've seen a lot of posts, or not a lot, but I've seen a good number of posts like, "Hey, got my kids in the Dungeons and Dragons." They're like 7. I'm like, how in the fuck did you manage to sit them down long enough to comprehend the rules? You know.
Yeah, and to be fair, there is actually, funny enough, hold on, what's it called? It's called, they made a rule set for kids specifically, Adventures with Buck. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on the page. It's super cute. But it's a quick adventure and is designed to introduce a younger demographic into the game. Mm-hmm. It's like legit. It's just a PDF. Yeah, it's for and I've seen this done before. It's not only like this is the official one, but like if you look in the Dungeon Masters DM Guild, there's a bunch of stuff like rule simplification for kids and stuff like that, which is fine if the kid is showing interest in it. But like, don't force it because the game is already like, you know, it's not a fun game for kids. It's definitely.
It's really. I mean, it's even for even as like entry friendly as 5e is. It's still a game that you have to want it. Like, you know, you have to want to be invested into it.
Yeah, and even sometimes when you're invested into it, like you're sitting there and like waiting for somebody else's turn to pass, like, and you're just bored because like sometimes it happens, you know, and we're adults, but that's the thing. You have to be an adult because you have to like do social things.
Well, you know what you do when you're sitting there waiting for their turn to end? You figure the fuck out what you're going to do on yours. Okay.
Exactly. Thank you. Fuck, dude.
God.
Damn it.
Shit. We actually don't have that problem.
You mean like no people don't do that? I had that problem at one point. Like I think it was back when we first started playing with the starter set. But I mean, it was like the first time we played stuff. Like,
but if it's like year 5 and someone's like, "Hey, sorcerer, your turn," and like, "What?" They have to like look up from their phone. Like, all right, come on, dude.
I hated that. I hated that with a passion. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're telling a story here. Why are you not involved?
If anything, we have like the opposite problem. I'm like, okay, one at a time. Yeah. One at a time. There's a reason why we have initiative.
Which is why I love this group so much, because like it's like that. Like there's not a lot of downtime. Usually, when it does take some time for the turn to pass, is because there was a misunderstanding with the spell or something along those lines. Or for me at least, it is I was planning to do something, but then somebody else did something that caused that to change. So it gets to my turn, I'm like, fuck. So, but even then, I'm just like, I just hit it. Smack it. But yeah, those are the newest releases from Dungeons and Dragons. We should be hearing about a new book in October.
Ooh,
September.
did they say?
Right, that's usually when they release like new stuff.
Or
were they announced, not released? Sorry.
Did they give any sort of clues as what this new book's going to be?
No.
Okay. I don't imagine it's going to be,
and it's not going to be for this year. It's probably going to be for next year.
I would imagine. I don't think. I would hope it's not another Magic the Gathering thing because
setting. Fuck.
Because I mean, the only reason why I'm saying it is because they had Ravnica and then Theros, and Theros was fairly recent, and so it's like, okay, let's like like give some other settings a chance, you know.
It'd be cool if instead of Avernus they do what's the opposite of Avernus? Is there a heaven?
Oh yeah. There's. I mean, what kind of alignment are you looking for? Hold on.
A celestial type.
Because there's a chaotic good heaven, that's Valhalla. There's a neutral good heaven, that's Elysium. and then there's
an Elysium. Then there you go.
Yeah, and then there's a I want to say the lawful good. It's just called Paradise or some shit like that. Some boring crap. Hold on.
Well, I mean, if they do something like the opposite, I just wish they would do like even if it's not like up to level 20, maybe like a level 15. Let us get to that other tier.
Why won't they do level 20? That's a discussion for another time.
And that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys liked what we discussed. Remember, metagaming, everybody does it. It's just about how you do it and how you integrate it in the story to make it fun. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even though I don't post that a lot. But Facebook's been really active recently, so you're going to see a lot of like our videos and fans there. Thank you everybody for joining and listening. Please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Andrew, say bye to the people.
My bad. It's Mount Celestia. That's the lawful good one. And chaotic good is Isgard. What?
I'm ending the episode.
Why?
Stop.
But I want to talk about planar travel.
No, we're not. Bad. That's another episode. All right. You guys have a good night. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.